Welcome everyone and thank you for being here today. Before we dive in, I want to just take a moment to talk about um, why we are all here. Um, so today is actually double first. It's a first time we are presenting this, and this is a very first session of something brand new. This is TIBCO Pulse. Every month we are going to show up right here with focused feature session, deep dive into features or what's new and real customer use cases. And at the end, live question and answer by people who actually build the product. So no sales pitch, no marketing stuff, delivered directly to you. The program is built for you guys. It's owned by engineering, product, and our ATS teams, not marketing, because we want to hear directly from you, the people who are closest to our products. So we are gonna show up every month. That is our commitment, and we are asking you guys hold us to that. So, um, some boring stuff before. Please post your questions in Q&A section, guys, because only then we will able to moderate, and we have a panel here who can answer live, or we can choose to answer at the end. But if you put it in chat, it get lost. So that's why. We launched official new TIBCO Pulse channel on YouTube where recording and everything will be there. So if you can quickly subscribe, you don't have to ask or look for recording, which we are gonna send to you guys as well. So we all know today's first session is modernize your BW5 deployment with control plane. This is our confidentiality and disclaimer. Um, And this is our Pulse team for today. So we have presenter Karan, who is our BW5 product manager, Alex, who is architect. In panelist, we have Santosh, who leads our BW team engineering. We have Vishal, who is a developer. Shailaja help us on marketing related things on Pulse, and I am just a host. So, all right, let's get to it. Session one, and the topic you guys are waiting to hear, and which is our highest priority. So that is with the first poll question, which will help Karan to have his talk trap. So I will switch to Karan now.
Hey, thanks, Ninad. Hi, guys. Really happy to be part of this session. Really excited to show you about BW5 modernization. Today's webinar agenda, as Ninad mentioned, we'll be talking about everything BW5 related to its modernization that we have available today, with a quick sneak peek on what's what's planned next in next 1 year or so for BW5 as well. We'll start with deep diving into TIBCO's reinforced strategy for BW5, where we are focusing on modernization innovation for the next decade, which sets the pace and which sets the context in your minds, in your plans as well. So you can plan accordingly for your BW5 landscape. We'll show you in a live demonstration how BW5 DevOps modernization is available with the help of TIBCO platform, TIBCO Control Plane, for both your apps deployed in on-prem, which has been the BW5 way of deployment since years, and the recently released BW5 containerization as well. It will also be followed by a very cool demonstration from my colleague here, Alex, who will show step by step how in a customer real world, you will approach this move from on-premise to containerization with the help of a new tooling that we have built to make this seamless process much more easier as well. With that, let me start with strategy and vision. So I know you all must be BW5 enthusiasts who have gathered here today. So it gives me immense joy to mention and to announce that BW5 is a product that we TIBCO could not be more proud of. It has been serving well from past 2 decades. And in past 1.5 year, we have refocusing a lot on BW5. We are making sure that it is not only a maintenance product, and it is not seen like that even in your organization, and to make sure that we convey the right message that how we are investing in the future of BW5. The 5 goals that we are focusing on is, first and foremost, to protect your existing deployments, to keep them as stable as they have been in the past 2 decades, to provide you all the bells and whistles you need to modernize your BW5 landscape, to make sure that we keep on continuously focusing on keep the TCO lower, reintroducing new connectivity, expansion of the connectivity in the BW5 ecosystem, and with with making it AI enabled, providing you a bridge to future with your BW5 landscape itself. To support that statement, we have introduced a way to modernize your existing on-premise DevOps with TIBCO platform, TIBCO Control Plane, which is the GUI layer. You have another new dashboard with a newer look and feel, with no limitations of having just one domain per one TIBCO administrator instance, having additional screens for observability, traces, history logs. You can start managing your BW5 on-prem apps with TIBCO platform. We have also introduced containerization capability of BW5, which is hands down the easiest path to cloud for your BW5 application. It works in a very seamless, non-intrusive manner. The highlight is that you do not need to do any prior migration work. You do not need to do any refactoring, recoding. As a matter of fact, you do not even need to open your projects in TIBCO Designer before moving to BW5 containers. And we will show you how in this session today. Other things from the strategic innovation point of view, we have started reintroducing newer plugins in BW5 world. We have recently released Apache Pulse, Apache Kafka plugins. We are coming up with more. And we have also made BW5 completely OpenTelemetry compliant. So you now have the complete flexibility of choosing your choice of tracing service provider or metrics or logging service provider with help of Hotel Collector. Now, before I move to quickly show you all of this in live, I just want to take a moment to talk about TIBCO platform. Though I believe all of you might have heard in some of the calls, webinars, or read about it, but I just wanted to give a quick recap. TIBCO platform is the latest TIBCO offering. It comprises of 3 layers. TIBCO Control Plane, which is the GUI layer, which unifies all of your needs related to management, monitoring, collaborative development, observability for all of your TIBCO assets. Whether it is integration, messaging, event management, data grid, any of it. And this TIBCO Control Plane, the GUI layer, is securely connected to data plane, which is nothing but your runtime assets, which means the applications, products, TIBCO products, which are actually deployed in your own environment or in public cloud, a platform of your choice. So, and how it works. Now let me move to the live demo quickly so that I can show you. So this is the TIBCO Control Plane homepage, which gives you a bird's eye view of your entire TIBCO network. It shows you application across Kubernetes, Control Tower. Control Tower is nothing but your bare metal VMs. What you can do, you can start with registering a data plane. As I've been mentioning, there are 2 types of data planes that are supported with TIBCO platform. Kubernetes cluster for your containerized applications. You can directly connect to a Kubernetes cluster where your BW CE applications, Flogo, BW5 containers, EMS and containers, any of that are running, and all your it can directly start managing things, assets in your Kubernetes cluster. Then Control Tower data plane, specifically for your bare metal on-premise deployments. You can connect it to your BW5 machines, EMS servers, and once you're connected to that, it will auto-discover all the applications, all the servers, and start showing it up on the TIBCO Control Plane GUI to further manage them. You also get a chance to even monitor all these data planes in detail. It can show you if all the microservices for the specific data planes, all the services are running fine or not. So you can have that monitoring status view too. Before I jump into the specific applications of BW5, other benefits that you get with TIBCO platform, it is a one-stop shop for any of your TIBCO need, whether it is to manage multi-region environments, to quickly navigate to documentation, to support, to quickly navigate to downloads of your various TIBCO products. You can fulfill each of your need from this one single login to TIBCO Control Plane UI. Then there are definitely additional benefits of getting a centralized RBAC with user management, observability, which gives you, again, a quick view of all of your applications related to request counts, memory usage, EMS messaging summary, integration summary. So you can add your custom widgets as per your requirements. Now, moving specifically to BW5, I'll cover both the deployment types. Let me start with BW5 on-prem. So this is the control tower data plane that I have set up. Now, what you need to do as someone who is already running BW5 applications in your on-prem environment, all you need to do is you need to connect this data plane with the machine where your Hawk console BW5 domains are running. Once you connect that with few simple steps, you simply need to start adding your domains over here. You can click on this add domain, give your domain details, transport details. Once your domain starts showing up as connected, you can navigate to this BW5 product card and you'll start seeing those domains start getting listed over here. This bypasses the limitation, the today's limitation that is there to have only one domain per TIBCO administrator instance. So if you have 10 domains, you need to log into a different instance at the time of upgrading to a newer version. You also have to upgrade each of the TIBCO admin instance. So you no longer have that limitation with TIBCO platform, but you still have the granular level control. If you want to segregate these domains into different data planes, different groups, different regions, you can certainly do that. If you want to control user level access to give read or write permission to specific domains, you can do that as well. In terms of functionality, when you make this move from TIBCO Administrator to TIBCO Platform for your BW5 on-prem environment, there is no loss of functionality that you will see. It is on complete parity with TIBCO Administrator. You will find all the actions, all the operations available here that you have in TIBCO Administrator, but as you might be seeing, in a much cleaner, neater user experience format where we have tried to collate things in fewer tabs so you can easily navigate to all those operations. But from an operation point of view, you'll get every operation of deploying, undeploying, moving to a different folder, upgrading, truncate revision, or even upload a new EAR and proceed with options like quick configure or deploy and configure, very similar to what you have in TIBCO Administrator. You get to see all the applications at one place. You get to see all the service instances across different applications at one place. All the columns are either allows filtering or you can even search in them as well. Now let me go to one of the service instances. The monitoring tab is again very similar, designed very similar to keep the user experience intact, but with better UX experience. You can enable, disable process starters. You can view in detail for specific process definition, the instrumentation data. You can view your file-based logs that you have in TIBCO Administrator as well. Additional filters for specific log levels. You get to download or export the logs as well. Now, additional benefits that you get with TIBCO platform is additional observability screens. So in historical logs, it shows you the logs across different files since the time your application was first started. It comes with a newer way of creating a search query like you do in any other CRM like Jira, and you can save those search criteria. You can load that specific search criteria later. So you can design all of that. Audit history gives you important audit events. So since the time your service instance was first started, who started it, if it was ever stopped, you get all of those details under here. You get additional tab for traces. So you get end-to-end tracing view for your BW5 application. If it is communicating with a different TIBCO application like BW6, Flogo. You will see all of those applications also in this one single page. So you have one screen to debug or diagnose any of the issues that you would want. Active alerts shows you any alerts that are configured, and then metrics tabs also shows you the CPU and memory usage in the real time for your BW5 application. Execution similarly gives you the success and faulted graph too. So in this manner, you get these additional screens at the same time, making sure that there is no loss of functionality. You get to do resource management from this install software where you can add newer versions. You have the entire monitoring and management for your connected machines as well. You can even add your rule bases, configure event. So all these functionalities remain intact for your BW5 product. Now, this was for BW5 on-prem. Now, if I talk about BW5 containers, so I'll move from control tower data plane to a Kubernetes data plane where I have this BW5 containers capability already provisioned. So once I click on this and once you have provision, I'll show you in how 3 simple steps you can easily move your on-premise application to BW5 containers. So what you usually do in provisioning up of the runtime in today's environment is you download BW5, TRA, TIBCO Administrator, plugins, adapters, and you install them on all the different machines where you want to set up your runtime. In case of BW5 containers, you'll simply start your journey by clicking on this button, Provision BW5 Containers and Plugins. You'll select which runtime version you would want. Currently, I have the latest LTS one already provisioned, so it is not giving me more options. And in one go, you can choose all the adapters, plugins that you might want in your environment. So let's say I know I would want Pulsar plugin, mobile integration plugin, and Business Connect palette to support the applications that I would need. So I'll provision all of them together. And with that, with those few clicks, your runtime environment gets provisioned. And you can always check what versions you have already provisioned from this tab. This wizard is also helpful because it also tells you if there are newer versions to be provisioned. You can click on this, check for new version. Like it is telling me there is a newer version for LDAP adapter. So that is another smaller thing, but you do not have to go to a different portal to even fetch this information. It makes the journey and life easy of anyone who is managing this. Now, after provision, the second step of moving to BW5 containers is upload, which means uploading of the EAR. And I like to say this is where the magic is actually happening, because what we are asking you to do is we are simply asking you to upload your existing EAR, which you are running in your BW5 on-premise environment. It could be of any version, BW5 14.0, 5.15.0, 5.15.1, not necessarily to be on the latest version as well. Now, once this EAR gets uploaded, what we are doing, we are converting it to a container deployment artifact, creating a manifest file with it. And at the same time, if it is not on the LTS version, we are also upgrading this EAR to the latest BW5 LTS version 5.16.1. So in one go, your application is being moved to container. At the same time, it is also getting upgraded to LTS as well. You can then choose which of the container runtime version you want, which of the base image you want. Given I have used EAR, which requires REST plugin, I can even link that plugin. You can also link your custom jars over here using this option. And with this option, your application gets uploaded and you can directly move to the third and final step, which is deploying of the app. So once you click on deploy app, you get two options, BW5 provisioner, which is nothing but kubectl commands in the background. And the other advanced Kubernetes option is Helm charts. I'll try this one. So you can click here. Let me give it a unique name. You can choose which namespace in your Kubernetes cluster you would want to deploy your application. If you have multiple Helm charts, usually you have it for different environments, dev, QA, prod. You can provide the chart name and chart version that is supposed to be used with this application deployment. I just have one in my repo, so I'll leave it empty. It will again show you what is the configuration it has picked up from the Helm chart that you have provided in case if you want to make any further changes. Otherwise, you can simply accept the EULA and click on deploy app. In these three simple steps, your BW5 application, which was running as on-prem in on-prem environment without making any design time changes, is now deployed as a container. Now, that was the first step of moving towards containers. Now, the more benefits that you get from a DevOps perspective. So let me show you what are the various operations or functionalities that you get to see. So once you come to a running BW5 container application, first and foremost benefit that you'll see is process diagrams, which is not there in TIBCO Administrator view. Again, very helpful when you have tons of processes and you are debugging an issue. You find under logs a specific process name. You can quickly come and search here what that specific process is. So it saves the time of switching into in between of different screens, different portals. So it makes the life easier from a case of diagnosis and debugging any of the issues. You have other options like to enable auto scaling. You can also configure that, get rid of any fault tolerance configuration. Now you have moved into cloud native world. Uh, then under endpoints, it lists all the different endpoints of your application, and you can also configure the endpoint visibility. For if you have multiple endpoints, you can choose if you want to keep one of them public or rest all of them private. You can do this toggle button and accordingly configure the visibility. You can hit the endpoint as well to see if your application is working fine or not. Monitoring tabs gives you the instrumentation data of multiple instances, resource metrics, live stream the real-time CPU memory usage. You can also configure alerts from here in case if you want to set up that memory spikes, or you can configure auto scaling. Execution again gives you success faulted ratio. Environment controls is where you'll see all of your global variables, how you can manage them in TIBCO Administrator. You can manage them from here as well. You can simply update it and click on this push updates to update it. You can add your custom engine variable, your BW TRA ops, adapter TRA ops directly over here in case if it is needed. You can then configure resources directly from here. Logs, very similar to BW5 on-prem, you'll get to see three different tabs. Real time is streaming directly from your app container. Historical logs giving you the logs since the time your container was first started, this application was first deployed. And audit history gives you similar audit events, and traces also gives you a similar view of traces of your BW5 application. I'll leave the Helm configuration out of my demonstration. I know Alex is going to cover it. Other aspect is upgrading of application is very fast. You can simply click on that upgrade application. If you don't want to update the EAR, simply click on next and update the runtime. Your application will be upgraded to the newer version as well. One more important thing to make sure that we completely support your CI/CD automation, you have all the APIs as well available for every action that you have available on GUI. So by clicking on this API docs button, under any capability of TIBCO platform Kubernetes data plane, you'll get to see APIs very well documented for every operation that you might need to perform. Anything that is available on GUI, it's available on API as well as on the CLI plugin too. Now moving back to my presentation. So that's how BW5 has a new DevOps experience with TIBCO Control Plane. Now, quickly talking about what more is planned in future for TIBCO BusinessWorks 5. We are focusing on three areas: developer efficiency, specifically focusing on to release Maven plugin for BW5 to automate ER packaging, ProjLib packaging. Then moving towards the AI world, we are working on launching a BW5 design assistant, which would be the co-pilot equivalent for BW5. So you can do a prompt-based code generation for BW5, both for greenfield, brownfield projects. It will also come with an inbuilt explainability mode. So a lot of time it happens that BW5 applications were built 10 or 15 years ago. It will help you to understand what is happening in those applications or any of the artifact within an activity configuration of that application as well. Will support other things like document generation, creation, and running of unit test cases. Then we are also building a MCP client activity for you to be able to connect to any third-party MCP servers, and ability to convert your existing business logic, existing REST or SOAP APIs as MCP tools as well. With TIBCO platform, more benefits that you will get in near future is how I was showcasing APIs for BW5 containers. You will have native APIs for BW5 on-prem as well. So you can completely automate the CI/CD pipeline for on-premise software too. Support for custom adapters, custom rule bases. So you can create any of the rule bases and what action should be performed in what scenarios. Additional monitoring dashboard to dive deep into the job executions, and then AI-enabled DevOps with the CP agent. So you can ask instead of searching about your environment health, about any of the issues that you are seeing, you'll get an inbuilt CP agent as well. More on the expansion side, we are expanding the connectivity of BW5, more plugins on AWS, Google, Azure ecosystem, SAP ecosystem. We are upgrading the Java version to Java 25, also adding support for OpenJDK, adding more to its flexibility, and also upgrading Tomcat as well. With all of these roadmap items, we are making sure that we are modernizing the BW5 engine for the next decade or so. And there is definitely a lot more to come, which we will continuously keep you updated as well. With that, I'll pass it on to Alex.
Thank you so much, Karam. And hello, everyone. As commented, I will be speaking more from a customer perspective, because many times it's not only important the feature itself, it's also how easily you can adopt that feature, especially in this kind of scenarios when we're talking about the development that you have done many time ago. So that's what we'd like to cover, is how you can use and leverage this capability that Karan was explaining. As we already commented, there are some specific topics that are already pointing in that direction, like the direct ER file kind of upload, or also the API support in order to be able to enable the automation. But this time we wanted to go one step ahead. And this is like we would like to provide a new utility that we call BW5 to simplify that process, right? This utility is already available in our GitHub page, and we will be leaving the details of that utility on the chat window, right? And the utility does exactly what you are thinking of. Goes to your existing BW5 domain, to your administrator, extract the applications, extract its configuration, and push it to the platform environment, right? The idea is to simplify this first jump from a classic stack to containers, so you can easily start moving your applications and building on there. But let me show it that in action first, right? Here you can see my BW5 domain, where I have a set of apps, each of them that are inside some folders that could be similar folders that you could have in your environment, probably much more that you see here in the screen. Some applications are in the root folder. And here I'm going to call utility, that is a CLI-based utility, that what I'm going to do is to move the applications that are in this domain in a batch mode to a platform environment that I have here, that I showed before, that currently have a single app. When I run it, what it's going to do is going to extract this application, this configuration, and using these APIs that we're exposing, we're going to start seeing that is getting deployed in the platform environment. You see the logs that is doing the uploading, the deployment, the different steps that Karan was showing in the UI. And now if I go here, let me refresh, we will start seeing these applications being deployed. As you can see, they're also being scaling now. And then once they are deployed, they will see the different tabs and different options that Karan already explained. And when we create this utility, we try to focus on the different kind of use cases and steps that you can do when you are doing this kind of process, right? Here, what we are showing is more the batch mode. But to be honest, we are not positioned the batch mode for a production environment, because as you can imagine, but this could be helpful when we are moving a dev environment directly or a test environment from the classic stack to the containers. And this is especially relevant because it's usually in these low environments that doesn't need to be running all the time, that not all of the apps are required for the text exercise that you're doing, when you can get most of the benefits of this flexibility in terms of also on cost optimization. You're starting to see that applications are appearing and most of them are already running. And I'll go back here, I get just a report of that. And you're also seeing that, for example, things that are not matching directly, such as the folder structure, what we are doing is we are creating the tags, that is how we organize things in the platform, to match to the different folders or the subfolders that were part of the existing environment, and they are pushing it there. But this is just one mode where we can run the application, right? Another mode, and I will switch to the README page of the application that I will encourage later to take more in detail a look. For example, maybe we just want to do a single app deployment, or we like to select the apps that we like to move. We also support in that mode where you can select a subset of the application that you want to move from the classic environment to the containers, or maybe you just want to be able to deploy it without starting, or not even deploy it and just uploading it, right? Another thing that we like to cover is the usual situation that could be a network segregation between where the classic environment is located and where the container environment is located. Usually in this time, what we are doing is we are pulling from the existing environment and pushing to the platform one. And always to find a spot, a machine, a location that have access to both is not always easy. So what we are providing is also the way to split that logic in two steps. A first one that is just exporting everything or just the application that you select in a specific local folder, and then use what we call the deploy offline mode to use that the data storage in that folder to push it to the platform. But even if you want to go beyond that and you don't want to have any connection to the administrator, but you have another source of truth when your application is located, as long as you're able to provide their file location and the XML file location for the properties, we're able to directly push it to the platform, right? At the end, so depending on your needs, we're able to adapt, and the utility is able to provide the solution for each of the use cases. The idea is not only to provide the different kind of use cases, but also is a solution for the different stages of this journey, right? And probably when we're talking about this, probably you are thinking that we are missing one important point, and I think also some of the questions are already talking about that, is because probably in your environment, what you have is a big amount of applications, probably some of them creating a long time ago, before containers were a thing, before anyone talked about microservices, or even before even AWS existed, and you don't want, or you don't have the time, or the effort is too high to go application by application, open it in Designer, reviewing it, seeing if it's okay to move to a containers. So as part of its utility, what we're also providing is the option to generate what we call a platform portability analysis. That is doing is for each of the application generating a report of the things that you need to have in consideration when you are moving this application to the platform. This report can be also on the CLI mode, or also can generate a HTML file, as the one that I'm going to show here as an example, when you see the things that has been analyzed and detected in different categories. When we talk about blockers, are things that, for example, an adapter or a plugin that is currently not yet supported on the container mode. To be honest, the number of adapters not yet supported is getting lower in each of releases, and we're working very hard to make it 0, but this could be one of the blockers. But other things are warnings, that is things that will work because at the end the engine is the same, but maybe the behavior is not exactly the same depending the configuration. So it's something that you need to review. For example, in this case, when we're talking about the module share variables, is regarding the scope, right? If the scope of the module share variable is in a single instance, everything is fine. But for example, if you enable the multi-instance kind of configuration, maybe you need to review the design, maybe you need to switch to a persistent shared variable in order to be able to get the same kind of functionality. And other things are maybe things that is not a problem at itself, but it's something that maybe you need to be careful about, or you need to take a look. That is, for example, if you're using files, right? Depending how you're using files, if this is temporary inside the instance, it's totally okay. But for example, if we need to provide additional configuration, certificates that we need in our application, we need to find a solution for that. We need to provision a persistent volume, we need to mount some configuration somehow, or for example, if we're exchanging files with a different systems, we need to be able to provide a shared storage between them that they're still able to communicate. It's not that it's not supported, it's that maybe requires some kind of additional configuration from your side. So the idea of this is to be able to do this first level of analysis, so you don't need to go one by one. And this is also part of the capabilities that is on the tool. All of the flags, all of the options are documented on the GitHub page, so I encourage you to take a look. And before I hand over back to Ninad, I want to talk about other things, right? Because usually, and also some of the questions that I already reading are related to this topic, is usually when we show these, we also show very simple applications that are not similar to the application that you're running, because usually the application that you have usually require more things than a standard REST service or something like that, because you need files, maybe you need a script that need to be able to run before the application starts. All this level of complexity, we try to provide a solution for that using the flexibility in the deployment model on the platform using the Helm mode, right? As Karan commented, the Helm mode is one of the deployment options that we provide, and I like to show you how we can use it to solve that additional requirement with an application, right? This application is still simple, that will be more similar to something that you are used to see. Instead of showing it in the designer, I will use the capabilities of the platform and show it inside the control plane. So I have it already here. So these are the different processes. So currently this application has a framework that is loaded using a proglyph that is defining the structure of the flow of the application, the pre-actions, the different steps, but is loading this configuration from a file. And also it's providing two business services that is managing the invoices, the reception of the invoices, and also the downloading of that. So for the reception of the invoices, we are receiving through Kafka, as commented, one of the plugins that we have for BW5, and storage in a shared folder. And also we are exposing this location through a subservice. So as you see, in this case, we need additional resources like volumes in order to be able to manage that. And using the Helm configuration view, we're able to do that. I will be quickly to that section, be able to provide, for example, additional volumes, that this is what the Helm provide. For the ones that doesn't know, Helm is a standard way to package, configure, and deploy application in Kubernetes. So in this case, it's able to provide me the main things that my application require, but also provide me the extension points that I need to be able to do additional things. Like in this case, create a persistent volume to store, in this case, my invoices, or be able to load a config map where I have this configuration that the framework needs, all in the same place. But this is just one sample. How we create this Helm chart is so flexible that you can add so many things depending on your needs. Things like custom init containers, for example, that you need to run before your application starts with additional checks, or downloading external resources that you could need. Sidecars for the people that is asking, oh, maybe we can secure the BW5 services using WAU2 proxy or something like that. We can use the sidecar pattern to support that. Or maybe it's just to fulfill the internal Kubernetes policies that you have in your organization. They require a specific security context configuration, or they need to be able to run in a specific way. So the idea is that we provide this way so flexible to reach two goals. The first is provide you a way to provide the additional things that your application could need, and at the same time be able to meet your internal requirements when you're moving to containers as well. And if for some reason all this flexibility is not enough, you always have the option to extend this Helm chart, create your custom version of it, and use it as part of your deployments in the platform. And one last thing that is also helpful regarding this Helm mode is similar as you have in Administrator, is able to show you all the version history of your application. So you can see, you can download the configuration that you have in the past, and you have also the option to roll back to a specific version in the past. And everything that we see here that we are doing through the UI, you also can do it through the API as well. And that's pretty much what I like to share. I know that we are short of time, so thank you so much. I hope that you find it interesting, and over back to you, Ninat.
Thank you, Alex and Karan. This was really cool. Actually, we were planning to run polls, but look like we will be short of time. But still, Shailaja, can you shoot out the poll? I will keep speaking. So we will not lose the time. Um, yeah, guys, keep please answer the poll and just hear me out. So next month, as I mentioned, we will be here with another very interesting topic from workflow to AI agent. What is the next leap in enterprise integration? The detailed description of this session will be on our registration page. Um, Hopefully tomorrow. But yeah, please share with your colleagues if they are not here yet. As I mentioned, we will be here every month. So please hold us to that. Um, okay, this is very interesting, and I actually posted on chat here as well because I thought I might not get time. But before we go, I want to share something really we are excited about is if you are building something interesting, cool with TIBCO, share it. And these are few how to and what is the criteria. It's like 3 to 10 minute at least. It has to be very clear and whatnot. And our if Pulse team approves, we will post it on our official channel and tag your LinkedIn profile on it. So please go ahead, record something which you are, and it's not just have to be BW. It can be any TIBCO products or multiple of TIBCO products. So please share it, send it to pulse@tibco.com, and we'll see if it gets approved. We will post it on our official channel. Yeah, poll 3 Shailaja, and I will keep speaking as we are not having much time. So I know we have to do some live Q&A. So I will move the question and answer here so I can read better. So which are the ports that need to be open to enable control tower to communicate with on-prem servers?
I, I can take that. So at the end, the ports that are needed is the same ones that you need to be able to connect to the host domain. So depending if you are connecting through a host domain that is based on rendezvous, will be the same port that you are configured when you configure the host agent. If you're using EMS, it's exactly the same. It's the same kind of configuration that you need to provide when you are configuring any other agent in GMS. That, for example, could be the GMS URL and some credentials to be able to connect with. That and the domain name are the requirements. But
Okay,
ports,
so that is done. Next one is, do we have a service delivery option?
Yep, I can take that. So it could be either of the one context that I might think. So if you're talking about the auto discovery of apps, then that is definitely there. Your BW5 on-prem apps gets discovered automatically. With containers, you are anyways deploying it via TIBCO platform. If you're referring to more on a API gateway side, so that is also something that we are working as a native offering from TIBCO platform. So you will be able to have the service discovery option as well as a integration with an API gateway.
Perfect. Do we have a policy manager for BW5 apps as a part of platform?
I can talk about that. Currently, we don't have like a policy manager tool as we have in the past, but as commented with the Helm mode, we can also extend the deployments to support similar kind of behavior, introducing other standard tools, like for example, the Auth2 proxy to provide or additional proxies to provide similar kind of functionality. So you can achieve the same features in the platform that you could have in the past with the old policy manager or the policy director that we have in TIBCO.
Perfect. Does BW5 containers can communicate each other via RV?
Yeah, regarding that, so that it will depend, right? The problem with RB, as you know, that is based on multicast for most of the communications. If we are talking about the standard features for the fault tolerance group or something that rely on that, that's not available, and that's why the portability analysis is also detecting that. You need to provide like a Kubernetes native way to provide the same capability. If we are talking about the rendezvous palette itself, that you need to talk more at the functional level and using things like the unicast or something, that's supported. But depending on the usage of the rendezvous, you could have some requirement, but this mainly because of the network limitation for the multicast requirement, other than the support itself.
Perfect. There is one interesting question about how TIBCO is promoting BW5 to clients. I think Karan, you can, yeah.
Sure, Ninad. So yeah, there is no not any need of promoting BW5 to anyone. That's the best part of this product. But Madhu, just to talk about your complete question, the goal is not that we are moving all of our focus on BW5. Our innovation, our roadmap on all the other offerings, whether it is BW6 or Flogo, that remains intact. Even the next session that Ninad was talking about is entirely on the AI native benefits with these new products. With BW5, newer focus and re-strategize, what we want to make sure is a lot of large enterprise customers still running their mission critical apps on BW5. We don't want them to feel that they are left out or they are blocked because they are on this product. So we are making sure that BW5 is also on par with all the modernization needs that is needed for any of the newer environment. And with that, any new connectors that are needed by customers, which can help them unblock more use cases, which can help them create newer projects on BW5 without making any change. And features like AI assisted development also helps newer developers in their teams. Without learning BW5, they can do prompt-based code generation on the existing runtime environment, which is as stable as they can have in their entire environment.
Cool. I think that's a great place to wrap up the Q&A. Thank you for all those questions, genuinely great ones. And thank you for being today here, because this was just a session one. Show up means everything to us. So keep your fingers on the pulse. We will see you next month. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you, everyone.